Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're your shortcut to getting smart about key topics. Today, we're jumping into Seni Mont Kiara. It's a really well-known luxury condo in KL. And our goal here is simple. Pull out the key stuff for you. Maybe you're looking at it as an investment, maybe as a place to live. We want to get you up to speed fast.
Yeah, and what's really interesting about Sani, I think, is this balance. It strikes. It's got this very unique art-focused identity, right? But it also has to function in the real world, considering the market, the lifestyle people actually want. It's got a character, which is quite rare.
Okay, so let's unpack that. This art identity, Seni, means art, as you said. How does that actually play out?
Well, they've got a dedicated art gallery on site, like a proper one, 2,000 square feet.
And the sculpture garden, too, plus the buildings themselves, named after famous artists. Picasso, Van Gogh.
Dali, Monet. It's quite a statement.
It really is. And the landscaping, that huge 5-acre garden designed by Karl Princic, it's built around this kind of serene island concept. It ties everything together beautifully. So does this art theme actually matter? I mean, beyond just looking nice?
I'd argue it really does. It gives Seni kind of timeless quality. You know, it helps it stand out from newer places that can feel a bit, well, generic sometimes. And remember, Seni isn't brand new. It was completed back in August 2010. It's on a pretty big chunk of land, too, 8.83 acres freehold. So that unique identity helps keep it relevant.
Right, okay. Makes sense. Now let's talk about living there. The units themselves, they're big, aren't they? Aimed at families?
Oh, yeah. Definitely generous spaces. You're typically looking at units starting around 2,300 square feet, going all the way up to over 6,700 for the penthouses.
Wow.
Usually 3+1 or 4+1 bedrooms. That +1 is often crucial, you know, for a study or a helper's room.
And a big deal for exclusivity, I hear, is the lift situation.
Yes, private lift lobbies, either one per unit or one serving just 2 units. It adds to that feeling of privacy and luxury.
And the facilities sound pretty impressive, too. Resort style.
Absolutely. They've got this huge 3-acre recreational plaza. We're talking 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools.
2? Okay.
Yep. Plus kids' pools, 5 jacuzzis, a good-sized modern gym, tennis, squash courts, function rooms, library, even a nursery. It's very comprehensive.
So you barely need to leave, essentially.
Pretty much, it creates this very self-contained lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that's a huge draw, especially when you factor in the proximity to those big international schools.
Ah, yes, the schools. Mont Kiara International, Garden International.
And the French school, they're all very close. That's a massive factor for the expat families who often rent there.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Talk investment. Seni Mont Kiara, is it a good place to park your money? People call it blue chip.
Well, blue chip in the sense of stability, yes. The main investment idea here isn't really about quick capital gains. The market, especially for luxury condos, has a lot of supply, so it's more about income preservation, steady rental income, and Seni does well there. Demand is consistently strong, especially from expats, like we mentioned. Occupancy rates are typically high, around 90%.
Okay, stable income. But here's where it gets really interesting, right? The management.
Absolutely. This is key. It's managed by Henry Butcher Malaysia, the Mont Kiara branch. And they actually won an award for it, silver, in the Edge Prop Best Managed and Sustainable Property Awards back in 2021.
And that translates directly into savings for owner.
Exactly. The maintenance fee is incredibly low for
Yeah.
this class of property, just RM 0.25 per square foot.
25 cents compared to what, usually?
Newer luxury
Less.
places,
Yeah.
you're often looking at RM 0.35, maybe even up to RM 0.50 PSF.
Ah.
So that difference is huge. They manage efficiently, even have their own internal maintenance team.
Yeah.
And that low fee directly boosts the net rental yield for investors.
Right.
We calculated a representative unit comes in around 4.46% net yield.
Which is pretty decent in today's market. And just for reference, the median selling price recently.
Looking at March 2024 to February 2025 data, it's hovering around RM 829 per square foot.
Okay, so great living environment, solid, well-managed investment. But
There's always a but, isn't there? The traffic, the Mont Kiara traffic, it's legendary and not in a good way. People call it a nightmare. Yeah, look, there's no sugarcoating it. The congestion is severe and it's persistent. It really does impact daily life, especially during those school run times morning, like 7:30 to 8:02 to 8:30, and afternoon, maybe 2.30 to 3.30, and then the usual evening rush hour.
what's causing it? Just too much development.
That's a big part of it. Rapid, high-density building, everyone relying on cars, and the road network just hasn't kept pace. It's a structural problem, really.
And isn't there some talk about a new road, a missing link?
Ah, yes. The road connecting Jalan Desa Kiara to the Pinchal Link Highway. It would give another way out, potentially easing things. But it's been talked about for gosh, well over a decade now. And it's still just a proposal on paper. No real movement.
So you can't bank on that fixing things anytime soon.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
And that chronic traffic issue, it's probably the biggest single risk. It puts a cap on the quality of life, potentially on future value growth, too. It's outside the control of Seda's excellent management.
So the bottom line seems to be a trade-off. You get this fantastic living space, well-managed, stable investment.
But you have to accept the daily reality of Mont Kiara traffic. Your decision really boils down to how much that bothers you, what your priorities are.
And if you're seriously considering living there.
You absolutely have to do your homework on the traffic. Don't just visit on a weekend.
Right.
Drive the roads you'd actually use during peak hours. Try it at 7:30 a.m. on a Tuesday. Try it at 3 p.m. Try it at 6 p.m. Experience it firsthand. Only then can you really decide if you can live with it.
So it's interesting. We talk about Senini and its art theme, the Picasso and Van Gogh blocks. But maybe the real masterpiece there isn't the physical design. Maybe it's the management. The fact they've kept it so well maintained, kept the fees low, sustained its value for over a decade despite the competition and, well, those roads.
That's a really insightful way to put it. Perhaps the art of management is its most enduring quality. Something to think about.
Indeed. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.